Questioning is, I believe, the fundamental skill of great salespeople. One of the big differences of the high-performing salespeople is that they know how to ask great questions. And that curiosity, that genuine desire to really understand their customer's business and what they're trying to achieve is the thing which creates a great buying experience for the customer and therefore leads to a really successful sale. My name's Patrick Joyner. I'm the MD at the Institute of Sales Professionals. I have a background in sales that extends more than 30 years as a salesperson, a sales manager, and then a sales trainer. And often as a sales trainer, sales managers would ask me to run programs for their teams on objection handling or closing skills or perhaps presentation skills. But almost always when I looked at what was actually causing problems for salespeople at those stages of the sales process, they weren't that great at asking questions. Even though we all know that asking questions is important, it's an area which many of us overlook when we're thinking about our selling skills, and an area which we get into really bad habits about. If you're struggling to close the sale, if you're struggling to position your solution with the client, they're coming up with some really difficult objections that you're finding it hard to handle, the chances are it's because something has gone wrong during the discovery conversation and you've missed out on some vital information that would enable you to put together a really compelling sales proposition for your customer. Almost always, if it's not going well at the end, it's because the questioning wasn't good enough. So for the next few minutes, I'd just like to introduce you to a model on questioning skills, which I believe, if you use it well, will help you get even better information out of your customers, will help you build a clearer picture of what their needs are, make them feel that you truly understand what they're about, and help you to build a really great sales experience for the customer. Most of us understand the difference between open and closed questions. We've been taught that for a long time. So for example, if I asked you, did you go on holiday last year? Will you go again? Did you have a good time? I might just get three answers, a yes, and a yes, or maybe a yes and a no. I could ask open questions. That would be much stronger. So I could say, where did you go on holiday? Who did you go with? Why did you go there? And I'd get a little bit more information. But I'd like to introduce you to a questioning technique called the questioning funnel, which will help you to build even richer information. If instead of asking you those questions about your holiday, I asked you to tell me about your holiday. Explain why you chose that particular destination. Describe your favorite memory from your holiday. I would get so much more information. And not only that, but I'd be getting the information that you wanted to share with me. I'd be hearing about your priorities, your best memories, the things which were most important to you about your holiday. And if you move that into a sales conversation context, I'd be asking you to tell me about your priorities as a customer. What are the things that you're trying to achieve? Tell me about how you see your business developing over the next 5 years. Explain your main priorities for the next 12 months. Describe to me what great looks like for you. And all of a sudden, I'm getting a rich vein of data coming back from the customer. I'm really getting a picture of what's important to them, what their priorities are. Because what I'm doing is allowing them to speak in a completely unfiltered way. Even the best open questions are conditional. If I ask you a where question, I get a place. A when, I get a time. Who, I get a person. If instead I say, tell me about your priorities for the next 12 months, what you say next is the things that are most important to you. The other advantages of these questions is that I get answers to questions that I wouldn't have known to ask, or that if I had asked, you might have been reluctant to give me an answer straight away. You might have noticed that these questions begin with one of these three words: tell, explain, or describe. So they're called TED questions. And what you're getting is a really good flow of information from the customer. They are speaking far more than you're speaking, and all that information which they're holding in their heads about their business and what they want to achieve is coming out in a way which makes sense to them and which reveals what's truly important to them. The downside of the TED questions is that just maybe you get lots of extra information, stuff that you don't really need, stuff which doesn't seem relevant. What I'd say to you as a salesperson is that you need to keep asking these questions. You need to allow the customer to talk, even if some of what they're saying doesn't seem immediately relevant to you. If it's important to them, it should be important to you. It's a bit like panning for gold. If you imagine a prospector sitting by the river with his pan, sifting through all the mud out of the river, he doesn't stop when he finds the first nugget. If there's one nugget there, there's going to be more. So he carries on and on and on, and he has to sift through an awful lot of mud in order to get enough nuggets to be worth doing. Similarly, as a salesperson, you need to keep the customer talking. You need to keep prompting them to give you more and more information. And even if you're sifting through things which don't seem immediately relevant to you, you still need to keep going. Be really sure that you've got the whole picture before you start moving to solution. And one of our big failings as salespeople is that we're just so keen to talk about our products, our services, our business, what we can do for them, that we don't give them enough time to talk about themselves. So I described the questioning funnel before. The TED questions sit at the top. You ask the TED questions, you get big data, you get loads of information, loads of insight into the business. And the open questions now serve their purpose. These are the ones which help you to qualify and prioritize the information that the customer has given you. So that's great. You've told me all kinds of things about your business, what you're trying to achieve, how you're going to achieve them. Tell me, of all of that stuff, which is the most important to you right now? Is a really good follow-up question, because then you're beginning to prioritize and qualify the information. You know what to focus on when you're putting together your solution. And of course, the closed questions are really important as well, because if you don't ask closed questions, you never get to a commitment. So that framework of the TED questions at the top, broad questions trawling for information. The open questions which help to prioritize, identify which are the important things to be focusing on, and then the closed questions which get you commitment is a really good structure for a sales conversation. If you don't ask a closed question, you never get a commitment from the customer. So just remember that funnel shape, starting with the big TED questions at the top, trawling through loads of information and narrowing it down through the open questions, and then the closed questions which get commitment. So your questioning is really important. Obviously for you to build up a really in-depth understanding of your customer, their needs, their priorities, the problems they're trying to solve, the objectives they're trying to achieve. Only with all of that information can you build a really good solution for them. But it's not just about you getting ready to present your solution. It's also about getting them ready to receive it. Your questioning is obviously bringing yourself up to speed, but it's also about getting the customer to a point where they have a full recognition of their needs, where they're ready to hear what you have to say and recognize that it's the right solution. If you come in with a predetermined solution and you just throw it at the customer, the chances are they're going to reject it. You need to take them through this voyage of discovery so they're ready to buy from you the thing that you're looking to put together. One of the things that people most like is talking about themselves. There is nothing more appealing to somebody than feeling that the other person is interested in what they're saying, that they genuinely want to find out more about them, and that's what you do through questions. If you're able to show that curiosity, that natural interest, that genuine enthusiasm for your customer's business and what they're trying to achieve, you become much more attractive as a salesperson, and the solutions that you put together are just significantly more compelling. And they feel that it's absolutely right for them. So focus on your questioning, that structure of the TED questions, open questions, closed questions. But also think about how you're going to probe further and get into the bottom of the information that people are giving you. Very often the first answer that people give you is what we call a symptomatic answer. It's a bit like going to the doctor. The doctor asks you how you're feeling and you say you've got a sore throat. The doctor doesn't just respond to that. They then probe further to find out when it started. What kind of sore throat is it? How does it make you feel? And where exactly is the pain, and what sort of pain is it? And the discovery phase of your sales conversations is very much like that. Keep asking questions, keep getting more information, pick out all the nuggets there are to come, because only when you've extracted all that value from the customer can you present that back to them in terms of your solution. Don't just assume that the first answer you get is giving you the full answer. You need to probe down deeper into the questions that you're asking. The theory is called 5 whys, getting to root cause. The idea being that if you follow up with 5 supplementary questions, you really get to the bottom of the issue. It might be 3, it might be 7, but the thing to do is to remember to keep probing down through your questions. The better the understanding you have of their needs, the more tailored your solution feels to them. Nobody likes to think that they're buying exactly the same thing as everybody else. Tailoring is the name of the game. And if I feel that you've listened to what I've said, if I feel that you've understood really what my needs are, and you've put together a solution which speaks directly to them, then you're the obvious supplier for me to choose to buy from. So the structure of your questioning, starting with the TED questions at the top, going through the open and closed questions, remembering those probing questions, getting right underneath the surface, understanding why they want the things that they say that they want, making sure that the journey that the customer is taking in discovering their needs is matched by the journey that you're taking in uncovering them. Only then are you in a position where the customer's truly ready to buy from you. And really that's the key difference between the best salespeople and everybody else. The best salespeople don't sell things, they just help their customers to buy. And they can only do that through a real in-depth understanding of what the customer is about. So creating that interest, creating that enthusiasm, and demonstrating your understanding of their needs gives them a really world-class buying experience and enables you to develop a solution which speaks precisely to their needs. At the beginning of a sales conversation, the customer has all the information that you need to solve their problems for them locked in their brain. The most important thing you do as a salesperson is to get that information out of their brain and into your head. Because only at that point are you ready to start building a really good solution for them. If you cut corners on sales, your presentation won't hit the mark. They'll raise more objections. They won't believe in your value proposition because they don't feel that you're really addressing their needs. If you get your questions right, more often than not, the sale will follow. Good luck.